Welcome to the Warcraft movie presentation.
Hello everyone, I am Chris Hardwick. I am hosting your panel today for the Warcraft movie. Legendary Pictures. Thank you. Thanks for the points. No, I give points. You don't give points. All right, you guys, it is wonderful to be here. I will see you tonight at the costume contest, but for now, we're here to talk about the Warcraft movie. So, first of all, we just want to sort of highlight, these are actual set pieces, props, costumes from the film. They brought them down so you can kind of see where it's going and what direction everything's headed in, and even up close, this is amazing. So I want to start by introducing a few people out here who are going to talk to you and give you the details that I'm sure you want to hear. So please welcome director of the Warcraft film, Duncan Jones, Blizzard Senior VP of Story and Franchise Development, Chris Metzen, and Bill Wessenhofer, Visual Effects Supervisor on Warcraft. Hey, how's it going? You can just shove them out of the way. It's nice to see you. Hey, how's it going?
Wow. Sorry, I got to take a picture of you lot.
You have to take a picture.
That is amazing. Hi, everyone.
Hello. All right.
Chris.
So, who did we miss?
Chris.
Where's Chris?
Is coming. Oh, no, he's on his way.
Chris Metzen, is he in the bathroom? That's really embarrassing. So let's talk a little bit about how you came to be involved with the film, and then we'll sort of shift into how the hell do you translate this into a movie?
It's, you know, I've been a Warcraft and Blizzard, in a more universal way, fan for a long time. I played Lost Vikings, started off with Orcs and Humans, and played through the early RTS games, bouncing back and forth between Warcrafts and Command and Conquers. And then, you know, I started playing some other online role-playing games, and then World of Warcraft came out, and the clan that I was in, we actually all left that game and joined World of Warcraft, and it's a phenomenal game, and that stayed with me for a long time. And when I heard that Sam Raimi was working on a World of Warcraft film, I was so excited and at the same time so jealous that he'd get to do that. And fate just found a way to give me the opportunity to take over.
Well, did you ever envision when you first started playing that this could ever be a movie, or did you think the world's just too expansive? What do you focus on, and how do you make it a film?
I mean, I think in some ways anything can be a film if there's a good idea as a kernel for it. I mean, David Fincher made Social Network.
Sure.
And I think the fact that, no, I don't think anyone, when they first started talking about the idea that someone would make a film out of Facebook, it was like, how do you do that? It's a ridiculous idea. But then he made a great film out of it because he had a story that he was able to build from there. World of Warcraft has a different problem in that it's got so many stories. It's been going for 10 years, and Warcraft itself has been going for 20 years. And I think, you know, our challenge was to actually drill down and find a story that would work as a single film, because there's just so much to do with it. So many great characters,
sure,
so many story arcs. And we went right back to the beginning, right back to the start, and looked at, you know, what was the original story in Orcs and Humans, and it was about these two peoples that were in a conflict that was absolutely unavoidable.
And so at what point did you decide, and how did you decide to start pulling that story together and pull it? Oh, is this Chris?
There he is.
Hey, welcome. Should we start over?
We're talking about story.
What happens? You have a watch on your arm, Chris. What the hell?
Gentlemen,
welcome.
We were just talking about Warcraft movie.
Of course you were.
No, we were making fun of you, and now you're here, so it's awkward.
My ears are burning.
So we were just sort of talking about, like, how do you translate this into a movie, and then what were the first steps? How did you begin? How did you break ground on the process?
Well, there was a pre-existing project that Sam Raimi had been doing, and it was, in my opinion, very human-centric, very alliance-centric, and there was, I think, an approach that, in my opinion, didn't put the orcs in the best light.
Sure.
And you know, as in the game where you could choose which side to be on, I thought it was really important that we made a film which allowed you to be on either side of the conflict, really, and followed through heroes from both sides.
Sure.
So in our case, it was following Lothar's story and Durotan's story, of Durotan of the Frostwolves, and again, how did these two heroes find themselves in a conflict that you would hope they'd be able to avoid, but they just can't.
So you're essentially almost making two movies, right? Because you're making from the side of the Alliance and then from the side of the Horde. So how are you balancing that throughout the process?
Well, on a narrative level, I mean, there's been an incredibly long history of war movies, but telling a story where you really allow the audience to empathize and feel for both sides is unusual in war movies alone, let alone fantasy films where normally, the monsters are portrayed as villains. And in our case, the orcs were a group that we wanted to really allow the audience to care about.
It's really the ultimate race war, this movie that you're trying to make. And also, it's kind of scary because you, as the Warcraft community, I'm going to say you're a very passionate group. So, I mean, talk about the pressure of, you do not want to piss these people off. So, how...
Yeah, don't do that.
You don't want to do that. And obviously, I think one of the most difficult things when you're translating a game to a film, I think it's even more intense than translating a literary work, because, you guys know when you play a game, like, you emotionally connect to that game in a very specific way. And if it's not translated in a way that represents how you connect with the game, then you get mad, and then you go to the internet and you swear a lot. So, at people who may or may not deserve it. So, how are you staying true to what you believe is the essential quality of Warcraft, and how do you feel you're going to represent this for the fans?
Well, I mean, I think the most important thing was for us to be able to work as closely as Chris and Nick and Wei Wang, who's an amazing concept artist, would allow us to. I mean, they have a lot of work to do on the projects that they're working on, but we needed their input and advice and guidance. We needed them to be our Yodas, and to really make sure that we were always on the right track. So Chris, we were always trying to bring you in as much as possible, and we got you guys up to the set. And
it was pretty interesting. I think we might have talked about it a little bit at last year's panel. When we got into this whole racket, let's make a movie. It's equal parts. You're terrified, but you're excited because we sure love movies. And wouldn't it be amazing one day if there was just the perfectly visually distilled version of your story on the big screen? Suddenly, my non-geeky parents and siblings could go like, "Oh, hey, I get it. I get what you've spent your entire adult life doing." What the hell is that again? Like, don't worry about it. But it's equally terrifying. What if you get it? What if you get it wrong? What if it's just off? What if it's just off by 30%, not 80%, right? What if it's almost there's a lot of anxiety about that. And I'll tell you what, Duncan just said it. The day he walked in the door, we had tried a few different routes on this film, and our comfort level was never great. Maybe it'll work. Oh God, what are we doing? This guy walks in the room and he sits down, and the words that I was longing to hear, but had stopped believing I'd ever hear, he says, "This movie has to be 50% Alliance, 50% Horde. I see this as red and blue," like he said. It's Duratan, it's Lothar, and I'm going, I was just in love. I fell into his dreamy eyes. I'm like, "I love you, man. Please make this." And he did. And it's so rad. So where I was going was the presumption of how you think, we as game developers, the level of relationship that we thought we would have with Legendary, with Duncan, has been unprecedented, right? I really feel like you guys have listened and heard us and our values. We have to make the decisions we got to make. You got to compress this giant story into what, 2 hours or less than 2 hours. That's not not revealing anything about the film, right? Still in progress. But you've got to distill so much of this world into this very tight form. And I feel that this man and his team have done such a good job, that we are in such good hands. And when I say we, I'm not talking about Blizzard, right? I'm talking about us, the people that love these ideas. I believe we're in such good hands, guys.
Well, that's sort of an interesting point that you brought up about condensing this entire world, because I mean, part of the addictive quality of the game is being immersed. Like, so you're in this immersive world that all of a sudden 12 hours go by. So how do you or 12 weeks or 12 months?
Just 12.
You have to pee sometime.
Bio break.
And then so how do you make the film? Like, what are some of the challenges to making the film feel that immersive? Because you have not just a visually expansive universe, but also the mythological universe. Like, there's so much. I mean, at this point, you must be an expert on all of the mythology of this world.
I was, I managed to surround myself with people who are even more expert in Warcraft lore than the people at Blizzard. So I have Bill Westenhofer as my VFX supervisor. So he and I knew that we needed to find a team who were going to be able to deliver on the world building, on the visual side of it, and of course on the orcs. By the way, if you want to see a little bit of what we've made and how much faith I have that we're going to deliver for you, upstairs there's a screening room. If you haven't had the chance to go there yet, go there later on. We're showing...
Have any of you guys seen it yet?
Okay.
Would you recommend to your friends that they go see it? All right.
Go see for yourselves what we've done. There's some shots that'll show you where we're going, and there's a particular shot where we show you where we think we have managed to get the orcs, and I think you're going to be very happy.
Can I riff on that? Just
yeah.
you don't mind me. You brought it, so
yeah,
you don't mind me talking about it. There's a couple months ago, Nick Carpenter and I went up to Legendary to meet Duncan. We had some stuff to talk through. And he proceeded to show us a shot. The movie's still being edited. Final graphics are still dropping in all the time from ILM. But there was one shot that they had... Can I tell him what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a shot, not a scene. I'll tell you the scene. There's a scene. I'm just going there, man. You'll love it. Trust me. There's a scene where the world's going to hell. And Duratan is in his tent with his pregnant wife, and he's sitting in the dark, and he's looking into the shadows, and everything's burning down, and Draka's there sleeping, and just kind of, she's just in pain, and he's just looking off into the depths of the Sherpa. And he plays this shot, and Nick and I think I had no verbal response. I literally jumped into Nick's lap and started just, oh my God! Because we're looking at this shot of this, I didn't see an orc. It is perfectly orc. But it's just a universe of depth and weariness and emotion in his eyes. I wasn't looking at a creature. Holy hell, what am I looking at? It just took me straight into the animus of the story. Just a breathing, living person, a dad, a husband. And I'm like, oh, dude, I know exactly what he's feeling. And then I went, wait a minute, I'm looking at an orc. Oh my God, what'd you do to me, So it's just a proof of the level of visualization that ILM is ultimately shooting for. You guys have to go upstairs and check this thing out. It's going to blow your minds.
So basically what we know about working with you is that you touch people a lot when you get excited.
Oh.
2 examples. Metzen put his hands on you. Yeah, he's very excited.
All good.
Very, very.
He either hugs you or he hits you. So either way, you know what's going on.
Well, Bill, you should know, did the VFX for Life of Pi. So, like that approach to very realistic-looking effects, I think, is essential for a film like this. So, can you talk a little bit about how you started to tackle this?
Absolutely. I mean, we knew early on that the orcs had to really resonate as much as the humans in the film. And that, the technology, it's advanced to the point where the ability was out there. We went to motion capture with using real actors captured on set. Started working with ILM, and I believe some of them are here. So I want to give a shout out to Jeff, Jason, and Hal. You guys are doing an incredible job. But it was, Duncan told me early on, he said he wanted to make this feel like as much filming a live action film as possible, which is a daunting task. This has, half the film is with creatures that aren't really there. The Warcraft world is something that doesn't just exist out there. It's got a style and a certain look that we had to help bring to fruition. So we had to sort through this and find a way to make it feel like you're shooting a live action set. So we went to the top leaders of motion capture in the world and took a lot of pain and effort to put motion capture cameras on set. It's usually when you do motion capture, you do it off to the side in a controlled environment, but we wanted to get nitty-gritty and put our orc actors right next to our human actors and have them interplay. And there's, Chris saw the result of some of that. There's a magic that happens just in the real performance. You see the emotion that our actors project, you see it in their face, and you get that genuine thing. And it's got that feel of a live-action film movie. The camera follows the orc around in a very organic way, and it's really, really excited. I mean, there's, I'll say too that you asked, how do you know that we're taking care of this for the fans? I am one. I started playing, my friend Kevin's put me on Warcraft 2 way back when, and I've been hooked ever since. Started playing World of Warcraft in the alpha test. I did have a tiny, I'll admit to you, I had a tiny moment of conscience. I am an Alliance player. So I had to say, can I really do justice to the orcs? You know, it's the enemy. But
Come on, Bill.
I will say that.
Ford, where you at? Just checking. Sorry, man.
Out of respect for all of you who have ganked me, we're delivering you some orcs that I'm very proud of.
There's one effect that I hope is in the movie that was in the old game that I doubt you put in there, but do you remember how if you just poked a sheep a bunch, at a certain point it would just go, "Baram you," and then explode?
That's awesome.
That would be amazing.
Yes.
If you could do that.
All right.
Oh, okay, good.
I did work on Babe, so that would be very appropriate.
What are some of the, like, how is this different from other films that you've worked on, and how's your approach been different, and what's been super fun about it?
What's been super fun is just, from a fan, you know, I got to stand in Stormwind, like a physical recreation of it. You know, that was awesome.
I mean, the thing is, it was not virtual.
No. Yeah.
All of the, well, actually, on this side here, these are costumes and props that actors were using. These are photo references, so these are not necessarily in the scale of our orcs.
Right.
Some of them are, some of them aren't. But we also built sets. We built locations. We built a lot of places that you know and love, and we built them to a fidelity where we could move around in these environments, go up close to stuff, look at signs, look at, you know, I mean, it was all there.
Guys, I got to stand in the middle of the main street in Stormwind. And there's the mailbox, and there's the bulletin board. I had tears in my eyes. Like the bulletin board, and there's little, parchment things like, wanted, hogger, and the Fargo Deep Mine. I'm going, holy shit. Just the level of detail, the level of craftsmanship, it was overwhelming, just absolutely overwhelming.
What, you were gonna say something else?
Yeah, so that was that's the most fun part, is, working on something, on content that I love. From a technical standpoint, the challenge is that just about every single thing that you can do has to be done. With motion capture on set was a incredible technical challenge. It's hard enough when you have a controlled environment where you have smoke and cameras and you're trying to get things to work. What was really cool, I'll geek out just a little bit, we were able to get to the point where our camera operator could see through his viewfinder, as he's filming the scene, he could see a digital representation of the orc as he's filming it. So our actors would be translated in real time, converted into an orc, and they could see it. So you get that really, if you're gonna film a war movie and you want to be in the nitty gritty, you want to follow all those little details and movements. That was something we were able to do, and we're really proud of how that turned out. I think it adds a nice organic quality to the end result. But then, and it's just getting the details of the skin right in the orc, and all, there's so many little things to get right while delivering an amazing story to a...
And I got to hang out in the Lion's Pride.
That's true, yes. Have a mug at the end.
So I think now is a good time to start talking about which characters we're gonna look at. Maybe, because oh, right. So, but at least as a heckler, you were like, yes, please.
Get on with it.
Yeah, it was very polite. So I think we can start revealing, let's start on the Alliance side. Lothar, we can talk about?
Yeah, so we have Lothar is kind of our Alliance lead, and that's Travis Fimmel, who's going to be playing him. If you watch Vikings, you know him from that show. He's an amazing, incredibly charismatic guy.
Yes, he's very dreamy, and I'm getting lost in his eyes.
Yeah.
Don't look in his eyes.
And Chris is going to put his hands on him again.
There's a story there that I won't go into, but so bad. Yeah.
He's an incredibly talented guy, a real personality as well. He brings something very unique to Lothar.
Yeah. And so how, when you're casting these actors, Chris, are you sitting down with them and really giving them all of the, going deep on the mythology, giving them all the backstory, telling them everything that, or do they come in prepared? Are they already fans?
I think that really lies more on Duncan's end. We had heard the casting intention. We're like, wow, that's crazy. Like that's really interesting. But we, on our side, we weren't really part of that quite as much until we went up and kind of met everybody. And the production had been underway for some time. So it was really fun running into everybody. I remember even when Travis, I'm like, wow, you know, I love Vikings, but like, you know, back in the day, if you guys seen Vikings? You should. It's badass. But in my head, you know, from old school, it's like Lothar was kind of like an older man and very, you know, I don't know, kind of a little two-dimensional. It's just kind of, you know, very lawful good and incorruptible and dependable. I'm like, whoa, it's the Vikings dude. Whoa, you know? Duncan is this, and like he killed it, right? It was kind of a different spin on the character, but it was kind of perfect. You know, a character that like deeply loves his homeland and deeply loves his king and wants to, you know, do the right thing, but still has this kind of depth to him, right? And
I just want to mention,
shadow,
just so that people can kind of know where we're coming from, what we're talking about. Chris has seen the film. Chris has seen a rough cut, but he has seen the film.
Yeah.
So, you know.
We got to go, this might have been a couple weeks ago now, Nick Carpenter and I, and a couple of the guys at Blizzard, we went up and we watched it. And we grabbed a quick dinner and we came right back and watched it again. Because it was the weirdest thing, guys. Because we were involved in the story ideation, the script phases. We've had, you know, any number of jam sessions about this whole thing, but to finally sit and see this thing come together, fried every circuit I had. I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, no, you know, and it's like, I had no shields by the end of it. So we actually got, you know, the guys were cool enough to let us come back and watch it again. And just now I could just watch it for what it is and how it's moving and the nuances. So I didn't have my own, it was just frying my emotions so hard. Just seeing these things that had been ideas in your head or ideas that my friends had conjured over the years. It was incredible. It was just absolutely, again, when I say I think we're in very good hands, I know that we are, right? It's not an opinion. I've seen the damn thing. It is unlike anything else I've seen, you know, with big fantasy films these days, you know, the past number of years. It feels so uniquely Warcraft, and it's hard to even say because there are not existing films, and I don't even know what that means, but you can kind of tell from some of the props and the artifacts you're seeing, it is so distinctively Warcraft.
And again, go upstairs.
Go upstairs
when you get the chance.
But you can't, I mean, the movie's not coming out for a while, so how far, to this rough cut that you're seeing, how far along are you in the process? What are you seeing?
Storytelling-wise, we know what the film is.
Yeah,
sure. You know, we're there now. So we have so many special effects. I mean, it's outrageous. It's Avatar and Lord of the Rings at the same time. It's a big film.
Yeah.
So it's just going to take a while.
And really, just to reinforce this one thing, Duncan had said it earlier, it was the thing I longed for most. You figure that the component, you know, now you guys know what the storyline is. It's, you know, it's effectively the ultimate version of Warcraft 1. If you're going to do a Warcraft film, start at the start. Quit screwing around and making stuff up. Just start at the start where all of our identities come from, right? You're probably going to get the Troll film or the Blood Elf film. Hopefully one day. But the one thing that unites us all, whatever races we play, whatever classes we play, whatever servers that we are on, is that ultimately all of the expression of the modern age of Warcraft comes from a very specific time and a very specific chain of events. And starting with those events is kind of like a primer for all of us. You'll see. But what was really fun and what I really hoped for was, you know, you're going to hire, you know, fantastic actors, you know, human folks, right, that are going to be expressive and embody the characters. What was the big question mark? How will the orcs be?
Yeah.
Will they emote? Will they make you feel empathy, right? Will you be able to sympathize with these guys that classically in this era were pretty bad news? And that was the trick. If you could have achieved that, we know there's no barriers.
Speaking of which, Durotan, that's our orc lead.
Yes.
And Durotan being played by Toby Kebbell, who just came out of having done Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
An amazing actor who has the chops on the motion capture level. And he's just, again, we needed someone who the audience could care about. And trust me, when you go upstairs, you'll see it for yourself.
So what's the percentage of visual effects versus what you're doing with makeup effects? Like what is Toby going through every day when he comes in to the trailer?
He goes through a process getting dotted up on his face to get, you know, capture every nuance of that. He puts on, gray pajamas. So these guys had to act really tough and macho wearing gray pajamas on freezing cold stages in Vancouver and pull it off and convince
But
everyone they're orcs.
you have to be pretty tough to wear pajamas on a stage.
You do. And
Vancouver.
they were fantastic. We actually went through there's the physical makeup, but there was performance makeup that they had to do. They had to go through a training session to learn how to be orcs. We brought in Terry Notary, who had worked on a lot of motion capture films, and they went through the session. You have to act like you're a 500-pound creature with, and with different, there's different nuances too. There's orcs that are like Toby, they're very noble and very conscious of their surroundings. There are others that are a bit more psychotic, and just get that to come through in the performance. So that was something that they had to practice and pull off on a daily basis.
Excellent. So moving down the characters, you want to talk about Medivh?
Yep, Ben Foster is playing Medivh. An amazing, I don't know if you've seen Lone Survivor or 310 to Yuma, but a real skilled actor. And I use that word in that he has an ability to communicate things through nuance. And he's incredibly magnetic just watching him. He's our Medivh, and it kind of feels like it's the right, I know it's the right guy for the character that we've created.
He definitely channels, there's a lot of magnetism to him. And in so many ways, Medivh was kind of the rock star of this era, and everyone expected that this guy he would save the day and swoop in and take care of all of our concerns. And it's so funny talking about spoilers for this thing, because why? You all know, for the most part, how things
know your lore.
for old Medivh. But it was kind of cool. Ben really brought that gravitas and that kind of, he was, pop into the scene like, whoa, all right, the Guardian is here, right? And he kind of brought that level of weight. It was very, very cool.
So we have to zip through a little faster because there's actually some big things that we want to show you that I want to make sure we have time for, and so we gotta stick a little bit of time. But let's. So on the Horde side, you want to talk about Gul'dan a little bit?
Yeah, Daniel Wu is an actor who actually I knew before we started doing this.
Oh, that's Rob Kaczynski.
Oh, that's Rob Kaczynski.
Yep. No, we really just jumped ahead.
I could go through them faster, I suppose.
Yeah. But talk about Daniel. Talk about Daniel a little bit.
Daniel is is Gul'dan, another actor who is we brought into the motion capture fold along with Toby and Rob Kaczynski.
Sure.
But he, as I said, I knew him before. I knew he could do it, and he didn't disappoint me. He's known very much for playing heroes, but this was an opportunity for him to play something very different.
All right. So then also Lady Taria, you want to talk?
Yeah, absolutely. Ruth Negga is a British actress, or Irish actress, rather.
There's Ruth. Beautiful, beautiful lady.
I guess we're not allowed to sing. Maybe we should let them drive the...
When the moonlight catches her beard just right. She's stunning. Stunning. She's going to be great in that role.
She is. She's a chameleon.
It's such great makeup.
Now, on the Horde side, Blackhand the Destroyer, you can...
Okay, it doesn't matter what comes up there.
That doesn't matter.
Because if I say Clancy
kind of
Brown,
random determination.
if I say Clancy Brown as Blackhand,
Yep.
I think you'll be happy.
There's Daniel Wu. There's Ruth.
That's Clancy Brown.
There's Clancy Brown.
Hey, there he is.
Clancy.
A factoid with Clancy is, I don't know, do any of you guys remember the non-published Warcraft Adventures game that we were working on long ago? We never put it out, but many of you know we were working on it. Clancy was actually the voice of Thrall originally. So there's a kind of a funny, I saw him on the set.
Mr.
He's like,
Crab.
I can't believe you guys hired me for this gig. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're Clancy Brown. I thought it was the death of Warcraft products, you know? Like, the game development, I'm like, the Kurgan gets a pass.
You just have to make him do stuff from SpongeBob.
Exactly.
SpongeBob. SpongeBob. And then Khadgar for the Alliance.
Yeah, for Khadgar, we have Ben Schnetzer, a New York actor who does an amazing British accent, but he's not doing a British accent for us, actually.
I want to say something real fast that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I was a mage, or I am a mage, and I had a moment where I had to sit down and teach Khadgar and Medivh how to cast magic spells.
I always play mages too. I don't like, and these, Because when I was growing up, I wasn't very athletic, so I don't know how to attack things with my body. I just like, I just want to hurt things with words and lightning. Like, that's all I want.
We should also mention that Jason, Jeff, and Hal are Warcraft players at ILM, and the magic, the unique look of the magic in our film is so true to Warcraft.
So Warcrafty.
Not like anything you've seen before either.
Yeah.
It's important, and it's good that you played, as opposed to just a VFX guy who came on and like, all right, let me figure this out. All right, yeah, this is fine. That'll work fine.
It's like, yeah, that looks cool, but that's not a arcane blast.
I mean,
that doesn't work.
it's important because you have the responsibility to express the type of Warcraft movie that you always wanted to see as a fan. So it seems like it's not just a job.
Yes.
Like it's
No,
something that is meaningful. So I believe Garona is next.
Garona, Paula Patton. You may probably know her from the most recent Mission Impossible movie. It was we had a unique challenge in casting up the Garona character in Garona, in that we have our orcs and we have our humans, and Garona is special. I don't want to say too much, but we didn't want to use motion capture for Garona. We wanted to have an actress who could play it live action. How unusual. Yes. But we needed an actress who could play it live action, who had the physicality and also had the acting chops. And Paula is fantastic and has really done a great job.
And now I think you're actually, are we going to be able to take a look at a couple of the more actually characters? Is there the stuff we can actually
Well, it depends on what slides come up.
Yeah. We're going to go with the flow.
But I think we're going to show King Lane, you can show the actual character.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, great. Which is, there it is.
Okay. Well, that's Dominic Cooper.
Excellent.
And that's King Lane, and that's Lane's armor right over there, right next to you, Chris.
Oh, excellent. Oh, right there. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And then now, I remember when this all went down and when this next guy came on board, because he was a huge, like I could almost see tears in his eyes, and he was like, I get to be in the Warcraft movie, but it's on the Horde side, Orgrim, we were going to talk about.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah.
Beautiful Orgrim.
So this is Rob Kaczynski, and Rob is a huge Warcraft fanatic, and so I've known him for a couple of years, and I know that he very fervently went after this movie and was very very excited to be here.
He did. I mean, we stuck him in the motion capture costume, so he had to wear the silver pajamas. That's the only way you get the job. And I think we got have we got Orgrim's costume? Yeah, we got Orgrim's costume there, and the Doomhammer. Where's the Doomhammer?
Is there something missing there?
There was a Doomhammer out here. The Doomhammer was out here a second ago.
Can we get the Doomhammer out?
Rob Kaczynski!
Red bands for the Horde!
That's the size
All
of the
right,
Doomhammer.
that's
That's not like a little chintzy prop. Like I held it on my shoulder, it hurts.
I've had it. I was backstage, and they were like, "We're gonna need you in a few minutes."
Any second now. Any second now.
I've had it like 10 minutes on my shoulder. It's a killer.
But I talked for a second just about when you came on board this project and you were like, I can't believe I get to be in the Warcraft movie. And so can you just talk a little about your relationship to Warcraft going into the casting?
Yeah, I started in Burning Crusade early as a warrior. That was my first mistake. Yeah, anyone who did Warriors in Vanilla or BC knew that if you pulled one mob and then you had to eat afterwards, and then if you pulled two, you were dead. And then I played pretty much all through BC in Takara. That was about as far as I got, Magtheridon's Lair. And then I got really addicted in Wrath, where I've been a Death Knight since 3.1. I was in a world top 100 guild. Celestial Defender, Death's Demise, Light of Dawn. Over 500 days played.
God.
Wow.
That's the real deal.
Someone just dropped his nerd dick on the table.
So for me to be a
500
part of
days.
this.
Yeah.
And I've been to the last 2 BlizzCons completely separate to this, so this is very much a case of one of us getting to do this. You know what I mean? That's very exciting.
Dude, I remember the first time I got to go up to the set. You know, I'm walking around, and you know, Duncan's just doing his thing. I'm like, okay, I'll just kind of hang back and, you know, not be in anybody's way. Crazy sets, all this stuff going off, and everyone's like, have you met Rob yet? I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm just gonna chill. And you know, you show up. What's going on, man? Yeah. And we sat for like what, dude? 45 minutes just going off about raids, and I'm like, okay. This guy's a bad mother, you know.
I went out for dinner with Nick Carpenter, and I mean, I bent his ear off for like 5 hours. I'm like, you need to fix LFG.
It's like, dude, it's not my department. You know, it's like, you can make it your department.
Yeah, I was like, I've got a great idea for the what's after Warlock Draenor. Listen to me. Let's get Sargeras here.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, yeah, what was it? No.
yeah, exactly. It was like, you know, you sit there on MMO Champion and Tank Spot and all those kind of places, and you sit there and you think, right, they never read this. I got to actually, like, listen to
Yes, sir, Mr. Kaczynski, yes.
it was great.
So can you
good.
talk about Orgrim a little bit? Can you talk about what, I mean, obviously without giving anything away, like how you connected, how fast you connected, and
Sure.
what do you bring into the character?
Well, obviously, Orgrim is the best character in the lore. He's the most handsome.
Yep.
Orgrim, he's kind of... I loved playing him because you got Duratan, who is the wise, all-seeing chief, and then you've got the hard bastard next to him, like big, scary, not very bright, kind of much like me.
He's bright enough.
But what I got to play in this film and what you'll see throughout this movie is kind of the evolution of Orgrim from being someone's brother and someone's best friend to becoming a leader in his own right. Yeah. And we know who he is. I mean, Orgrimmar is named, it's after me, that is. And we got to lay the foundations of who this guy gets to become and what he gets to end up doing, and that was all right.
So what were some of the, just can you talk a little bit about from the point of view of a performer? I mean, they sort of explained like what they are doing to you during this process, but what is your
Well, I won't say what they were doing to me during the process, but there was a lot of physical movement stuff to it because it was motion capture, which I'd never done before. And it was kind of the most rewarding thing I'd ever done. We did months of training with this guy called Terry Notary, who's a movement master, to learn how to walk and move like an orc, which is very different to humans. And I'll happily give a demonstration.
Do it, yeah.
Bust it.
Do Terry proud.
It's like this,
do
yeah.
Terry proud.
Silly walks.
Don't worry, guys. It's auteur, but it's really gonna be good. It's gonna work.
So it's an artistic interpretation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Now by interpretive dance. Basically, if you're going to be a 7-foot tall, 500-600-pound monster, you've got to be heavier. And that means having, everyone knows that you try and suck in your gut a bit to try and be attractive sometimes. And then, but on this film, no, you had to be as ugly as possible. So Terry got us to, this whole pregnant belly thing. And just slow movements around until but Orgrim had this whole shoulder roll. And he would just turn really slowly and just, he was intimidating. And Duratan had a much more upright, kind of all-seeing, catching peripherals. Yeah. And Orgrim was just like, get out of front.
Yeah.
He was, I haven't done that since April. Orgrim hasn't been in me since April. But that's kind of the rough idea of what we were doing.
Awesome. You nailed it.
That could be like the autobiography
Orgrim is in me.
Orgrim.
I am in you.
There was a period at the start of the film where none of us, even myself included, had seen what it was going to look like. And you had been done all of these. You'd been doing this performance for a while. You'd been in the silver pajamas, and then eventually, Bill comes in with the first sort of gray shaded shot of what Orgrim was going to look like. That was the first character we saw.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing day because we had been terrified. We've been terrified for a while.
Exactly right. And I mean, I come from the same place as all you guys. We're fans. And you want it to be right. And it would absolutely murder me if this thing sucked. So you're sitting there and you're in your pajamas. And you've been in pajamas for a while. And I don't have this prop. I have some black, styrofoam. And you're thinking, this is silly. This is silly, isn't it? And then they bring in, Bill and Jeff. They brought in this. I mean, what was it? 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was only partially done. A render of Orgrim, just very subtly doing his thing. And they're convinced that it looks like me. I hope not. It was just every tiny little detail, whether it's an eye flick or a twitch or the movement of a hair, comes through. And I was sitting here watching this creature, and I was like, oh, like in the cutscenes, like in the movies that Blizzard releases for every, like the Waters of Draenor one and the Arthas My Son thing. It's like that, but on crack. It's more realistic than me looking at Chris right now. It's just, it's so good.
I want to give, I mentioned before, just the props to the ILM team on this, because even going into this, I knew what technologies were capable of, and they actually pushed it beyond what I thought to be able to achieve. We're getting you can see each one, you can see Rob. It looks like Rob. He doesn't believe it. Completely does. You can see Toby. You can see Clancy Brown. Like we're starting. It's still early on. We're starting to see the film unfold on the visual effects side, and you see suddenly Clancy Brown is there delivering his line, his performance. It's really cool.
I mean, you have to understand that how important it is for these guys to make a movie that is true and authentic and that you will like. Because as fans, you don't want people to be like, you ruined Warcraft! And be like, oh shit, no, I'm sorry.
Suddenly I log in, my count doesn't work anymore.
Everyone's just waiting for you online as soon as you log in.
Yeah, they've outed me, and
You've lost everything, every character.
by Timeless Isle.
By the way, Rob Kaczynski will be doing a Twitter takeover for the @Legendary account right after this panel, so stay tuned to see Rob's updates from the show floor.
I'll tell you everything about the film.
Start to finish.
Full disclosure.
And we're just sort of wrapping up now, but there's a couple things that I want to announce. There's 2 new fan sites that are being launched, and right now between March and 2016, which is when the film, it's going to be 2016.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. No,
listen.
listen. Listen, you take your time.
Gotta get it right. Gotta get it right.
It's like, yeah, exactly. When someone, like if a plumber comes over and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm not working fast. I'm like, look, I just want this thing to flush. You take as much time as you need.
Guys, this is a Blizzard audience. They know the drill.
They know.
Oh, shit.
Be ready when it's ready.
17 years. 17 years.
17 years, yeah. Yeah.
I just have to say, actually, I played Overwatch
Me
just
too.
now.
Did you play it?
First of all, I came in first place as Winston.
I thought I did.
Excellent.
But it's fantastic. It's amazing. Absolutely loving it.
So there are 2 fan sites that are being launched that you can go to right now, and ultimately you're going to pick a side. You're either going to go to fightforthealliance.com or fightforthehorde.com. So either side. The Horde side is very loud.
They're very
The
vocal.
Horde side. And sometimes I feel like the Alliance.
It's from the diaphragm.
It's not like the Alliance side isn't passionate, but it feels very Monty Python-esque, where it's like, and they rejoiced.
Hurrah!
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's much more polite.
Braves.
Let's
Robin.
take on some orcs.
Yes. Death to you, orcs! Oh, blast! So there's one more thing that we're gonna do, and I think we might have to take a couple shots at it, and it's very exciting. Do you want to explain what's gonna happen, or do you want me to explain what's gonna happen? We're gonna need your help for something that will be involved with the film.
Yeah, it's early on, and we're starting to gather and put together the sound for the film. And there's a couple of moments where we need for the Horde, and we need the Alliance,
Yep.
and we need for Azeroth as well. So the Azeroth would be for everyone. So Chris, if you want to kind of lead us through this.
I will try.
So we've got
All
our mic out here.
We'll start with the
Which
Alliance.
side-
We'll
which
start with the
side would
Alliance.
you like to start with?
We should start with the Alliance. We'll start with the Alliance first.
Alliance, listen. Now's the time.
Don't let the Horde shame you.
It's time to bring it. For real, Zors. You ready? 3, 2, 1. All right,
pretty
this time
good.
do it and don't make it suck. Come on.
One more time.
One more time. You guys ready? That was awesome. Make it even more awesomer. You ready? This is immortality here. 3, 2, 1.
Whoa,
Amazing.
that's pretty good.
Amazing.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Orgrim,
Rob,
it's up to you. Lead your people. Lead them well.
Horde! We're animals! 3, 2, 1!
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Plaster
Not
down up.
bad. We can do better. We're 7 foot tall. We're Taurans. We're undead. 3, 2, 1!
That's amazing.
Pretty good.
I'm scared.
Excellent job.
So let's bring it together, please. We'll
By
do
the
it
way,
for Azeroth. We need
I-
it for Azeroth.
I like the shout and then the polite golf clap afterwards. Hey, we're good shouters. We did a nice job up there.
Well done.
Yeah, and now for Azeroth.
Chris.
So, like,
We,
All right,
Yeah.
this is
for Azeroth. For
everybody.
everyone.
Everybody. We're going to pull it together. It's our world. For Azeroth on 3. 3, 2, 1. It's pretty good. Let's do it
Wow.
again. 3, 2, 1. Wow.
all right. You guys, that is the Warcraft movie panel. Thank you so much for coming out. A huge hand for everyone who's up here. March 2016. I will see you guys tonight, later on tonight, and have a great day. Thanks, everyone.
Go upstairs.
Get upstairs.
Go upstairs to the show floor.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, man.